Hello and welcome back to Mexico News Network's daily news broadcasting from El Dorado, Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus for more news and log on to our website www.mexiconewsnetwork.com. Let's continue with information. Want to learn how to prepare a simple and delicious Mexican dish? Molletes are an easy-to-make favorite for kids and adults. Just gather a few ingredients and let's start cooking. Here are the ingredients and procedure on how to prepare your own Mexican grilled cheese molletes. These are the ingredients you will need. Bolillos or teleras, types of bread used in Mexico. If you can't find any, use a baguette. Unsalted butter, required amount. A cup of refried beans, either black or pinto beans. 6 ounces of shredded manchego or Chihuahua cheese, or any cheese that melts. And salsa pico de gallo, optional, but we really suggest you use it. It adds the perfect touch. Now, this is the procedure. First, preheat the oven or toaster to 500 Fahrenheit degrees. Then cut the bread in half longitudinally. After that, place a large skillet on the stove and let it warm up. Melt the butter and place the bread. Cut sides down so they get covered in butter. Toast just a little. Remove the bread and spread some refried beans on each slice. Sprinkle cheese on top of each slice. Now they are ready for the oven. Place the molletes in the oven or toaster until the cheese has melted completely. Then remove from the oven. Now it is time to top it off with pico de gallo. This is a simple raw salsa made with diced onion, tomato, and green chili pepper, some lime juice, salt, and pepper. And now you are ready to enjoy. This is a basic recipe for molletes, but in some parts of Mexico, people also apply some meat preparation, potatoes with chorizo, nopales, and so on. There you have it. A simple and delicious Mexican treat to share with your family and, of course, with your friends. And Mexican cuisine is vast, colorful, filled with tradition, and, of course, downright delicious. It is true that it usually involves spicy ingredients, but there's so much to choose from that you can spend a lifetime tasting different dishes without knowing which one you enjoy the most. One of these spectacularly simple Mexican delights are the tacos al pastor, roughly tacos in the style of the shepherd. Though it is not known for certain, it is widely believed that this recipe was introduced into Mexico by Lebanese immigrants in the late 19th century. It is an exquisite combination of pork slices marinated with a chile ancho, garlic, apple vinegar, chicken, and tomato broth, oregano, paprika, and pineapple juice, roasted and served in a handmade tortilla, and accompanied with diced onion, cilantro, and chunks of pineapple. Once you've got your taco ready, you will need to add a few lime juice drops, and of course green or red salsa, which can be made with different kinds of chile. If you visit one of the thousands of taquerias that can be found throughout Mexico, you must try this mouth-watering version of the omnipresent taco. Now, you can order 2 or 3 tacos if you wish, but it's a well-known fact that experienced taco enthusiasts place orders in a multiples of 5. Enjoy! Next to Pino Suarez subway station in Mexico City, there is the Church of the Immaculate Conception and Jesus the Nazarene. This 17th century building is known for holding the last piece of work of Mexican muralist José Clemente Orozco, Apocalipsis. However, it is also a final resting place of a Spanish conquistador, Hernán Cortés, in a tomb that remained hidden behind one of its walls for over 123 years. But how did he end up there? Hernán Cortés Monroy Pizarro Altamirano died in Castilleja de la Cuesta, Spain on December 2nd, 1547. Although he was buried in the local church for over 400 years, the remains of the Spanish conqueror wandered between Spain and Mexico. being buried and exhumed 9 times. Some years before his death, Cortés' family decided to move his remains from Spain to Mexico in 1566, when the country was still the Spanish colony of New Spain. He was buried at the San Francisco Temple in Texcoco, only to be transferred to the San Francisco Convent in 1629, and finally to the Church of the Immaculate Conception and Jesus the Nazarene. But 2 years after the independence of Mexico, a strong wave of nationalism was unleashed, leading to the risk of the remains being desecrated. For this reason, the Mexican Interior Minister at that time, Lucas Alamán, devised a ruse to have people believe that the remains had been sent to Italy. This, of course, never happened. What Alamán did was exhume the bones and hide them under a platform at a Hospital of Jesus, the first hospital in the Americas. According to the legend, Cortés and the Aztec Emperor Moctezuma met for the first time on the grounds where the hospital was built. After 13 years, Alamán again changed the remains location, moving them to a niche on the left side of the Church of the Immaculate Conception's altar. To prevent the remains from being lost, he secretly informed the Embassy of Spain through a letter. The document, however, remained enclosed in a vault for more than 123 years. It was not until 1946 that an employee of the Spanish Embassy leaked a copy of this document to prove the authenticity of the bones. Historians would exhume the remains again, proving that it was indeed Cortés. By presidential mandate, the National Institute of Anthropology and History finally reburied the remains in the Church of the Immaculate Conception and Jesus the Nazarene. The niche is 3 meters from the ground, marked only by an orange plate that says Hernán Cortés, 1485-1547. And in other news, the knowledge and precision of astronomical studies left by the Mayas continue fascinating scientists. Despite having 0 technological instruments, this impressive civilization was able to achieve impressive astronomical calculations. Studies carried out over time in the ancient city of Chichen Itza, specifically in the building known as the castle, El Castillo, allowed the establishment of a new line of research called archaeoastronomy, which has gained great popularity and will be introduced in particular universities in Mexico. Some of the discoveries product of the study of the stars by the Maya civilization include the functioning of Chichen Itza as a giant calendar, since its structure is perfectly aligned with the constellations, which makes it an ideal to calculate dates for the spring and autumn equinox and the summer and winter solstice. Observation of the sky and constellations also permitted the construction of astronomical observatories, such as Building P in Monte Albán, the Sun Pyramid in Teotihuacan, and the Sun Grotto in Xochicalco, among others. All of this knowledge was registered by Diego de Landa in the 16th century, who emphasized on his astronomical data about this unique event. His studies and registry were retaken by the traveler John Lloyd Stephens in the 19th century. It is just now that all of this knowledge is being joined to create a new way of archaeological investigation, in which both archaeological and astronomical information combine to provide new tools for the investigators so they can be able to learn more about this fascinating civilization. Well, this was all for today. Thanks for watching us broadcasting from El Dorado Royal Spa Resort by Charisma. I am your host, Sofia Rattinger, and do not forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And log on to www.mexiconewsnetwork.com for more relevant information about Mexico and the world. We will see you the next time.